Welcome again to an update from the City of New Hope, bringing you up to date on a lot that is happening right now in the city and also many things coming up. Joining us with the update is the Mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Just fine. Welcome to the last week in May.
Yes, hard to believe we're moving this fast. We've got some things to talk about in May and also quite a bit in June, so get your calendars out. Let's begin, though, way out into the future and talk a little bit about a city event coming up in October, and people will be happy to see this come back. Tell us a little bit more about City Day and all this involved.
Well, we're going to do City Day this year, and we haven't done it for many years because of the construction and the pandemic. And so we're back. October 9th is the date. It's in the morning, typically from 9 to like 2. It's going to be in conjunction with West Metro's open house. So it's a free event to bring the kids, bring the family. You can see the stuff at City Days, and then you can go over to West Metro and climb on the trucks and see what's going on over there. We typically bring our big trucks from Public Works, and there'll be lots of booths on the things that are happening in the city along with Park and Rec. So just fun things to do, a fun morning on the 8th, the 9th of October.
Fantastic. Yeah, big hit for the entire family. So we'll talk more about that as it gets closer. Let's talk about food trucks coming to the city area on Fridays. Tell us about this fun event.
Food Truck Fridays coming this Friday. So 4 or 5 food trucks, they'll be parked in the parking lot at City Hall. I believe it's 11 to 2. You can come. Apparently, there's been a lot of activity on Facebook about these food trucks. So we're hoping for a nice turnout for them.
Great. All right. And that, again, is coming up on May 28th. So make sure you get that on your calendar. Nuisance issues and ordinances. Let's just spend a little time to talk a little bit about what these are within the city of New Hope and how the city is working to try to get some communication going and get the word out.
Well, we typically have ordinances for the big things that happen, but there's also that little nuisance stuff like weeds growing too tall, garbage cans left out that shouldn't be left out, noise in the backyard that's bothering neighbors, people that are blowing snow and leaves on other people's property, those nuisance kinds of things. So we've asked staff to look at what other cities are doing about this. You know, we don't want to be the ordinance police on this, but we really do want neighbors to get along and make sure everything's running smoothly. So they'll look at what other cities are doing, and then we're going to discuss it at a work session on the 21st of June and see what we can do about fixing some of these nuisances that are going on.
All right, we will talk about that throughout the process here and certainly after that June 21st date to give you more information. Scattered site housing, we just have one property to update on, and the demolition process continues on Aquila.
Everything's been turned off or disconnected or repaired, and now they're ready for the demolition. And that should be done by the 1st of June. So you can kind of watch for that, if you will. Once that's done, then they'll clean up the land and they'll sell the lot to a developer, and then a house will go up there.
All right, more to come. Business Networking Group, we try to update folks on what that group is doing on a regular basis. They have another meeting coming up on June 2nd with a local facility being the highlighted group. Tell us more.
Well, that'll be at 8:30. I think it's going to be a Zoom meeting. It's probably going to be both. I'm not sure.
Okay.
They just haven't decided whether or not it's safe to go into St. Therese or not. But those meetings, a lot of good information comes out of that. And since St. Therese is hosting it, they'll spend 10, 15 minutes talking about what's going on at St. Therese and how they're handling things. So it should be a real interesting meeting this time.
Very good. More information on the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Also, city's website has information about some new businesses. We've talked about a few of them over the past few weeks. Tell us about some openings of new businesses or new areas to eat at some businesses.
Well, there's a taco place in the parking lot of New Hope Bowl, and it's QUE Tacos. And I've been informed that that's pronounced K Tacos.
Okay.
So they are open. It's a takeout. You go in, you order your stuff, you take it out. It's a food truck that isn't on wheels, is what it is. So they are open. Pocket Square, that's on 42nd, where the old Mountain Mud used to be. They're distilling their own gin and vodka on site. And so they have a tasting room inside. It's a nice place to go, very nice atmosphere, very casual. So they're open. And now Pub 42 has built an enormous deck on their property because we changed our ordinance to allow more outdoor seating. So they've got this big deck, and that seems to be going over really well. So stop into Pub 40, check that out.
Very good. Let's talk about food in a way that you might not expect related to the police department. The first is possibly some barbecues coming up between the police and apartment buildings. How would this work?
Well, the police really want to get out in the community, and they want to make sure that people understand that our police are there to help and not to hinder. And so one of the thoughts that the police department had was they would go to the apartment complexes and have a barbecue.
Great.
And they would, I don't know who's providing the food, but the police said that they would cook it. And it's just a way to connect so that people can talk to them in a relaxed, friendly atmosphere. So that's really exciting.
Very nice
And of
idea.
course,
And
the-
another way, we've got meals being delivered by the police as well through Meals on Wheels.
They're still doing that. They do that every week. I think they have a sign up sheet. The police are excited to sign up. And a couple of them go out and they do a route once a week and they deliver the meal. So that's pretty exciting, I think.
That is very exciting. Final update, you wanted to mention a little bit about the police department and the body cams. How is that process moving along? And I understand there is a lot involved in this process.
There is. Well, at first we were going to get half the body cams, see how they worked, and then order the other half. Well, that didn't really make a lot of sense. And so they've ordered all the body cams. They're either in mostly or they'll be there shortly. What they're going to do is they're going to run a pilot program. They'll put some of these body cameras on a few of the police officers going out just to make sure that they're recording properly, both the video and the sound, and that the stuff is going back to tapes so they can store that. Once they know that the few are working fine, then they'll get all the cops with the body cams. So the pilot's coming in June, and the full out run out is coming in August.
Let's move ahead to Public Works. A few things to update residents on. First is a lot of activity at Civic Park with volleyball and also still with some graffiti. Give us those updates.
Well, they put up new volleyball nets at Civic Center Park. So, the nets are up, and of course you can always go there to play. And they're still trying to remove that graffiti from the back of the performance center. I just want to put in a plug. If you happen to be a neighbor of Civic Center Park and you see some activity that you don't think should be going on there, please call 911 or tip 411, or if all else fails, call City Hall and they'll connect you to somebody. We keep all the information from the neighbors very quiet. Don't tell them who told us, but we need to stop that activity before they ruin this beautiful facility that us, the citizens, have paid for. So we want to put a stop to this as soon as we can.
One other Public Works note, something that hopefully we can educate people on. I did not know that dead end fire hydrants exist, but they have to be taken care of a little differently when it comes to flushing. How does the process work, Mayor?
Well, all the fire hydrants are connected with piping underneath to get the water to them. Well, the piping flows through that pipe past a fire hydrant until it gets to a dead end fire hydrant. And those are usually in cul-de-sacs or in streets that are blocked off at the end. And so they need to flush those out. And they're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks. To do that, it looks like a terrible waste of water because they open them up and they let them flow out so they get that flow of water going through. But they can't really put it on somebody's lawn.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of it and it comes out kind of fast. It's really not a waste of water. It goes back into the storm sewer system, but we need to get those fire hydrants flushed out so that we know they're working properly if we need them.
Let's move ahead to street infrastructure and some of the projects going on. I understand maybe a little more work happening around 42nd in Oregon. What is the status report there and what can we expect?
Well, there's a storm drain up there, and if you remember right, once in a while it would kind of flood down there. Well, the storm drain has to be repaired, and to do that, of course, they have to shut off the eastbound lane of 42nd. So they'll have one lane going eastbound, two going the westbound. That'll be for about a week. I don't know exactly when they're going to shut it off. You'll still be able to go eastbound on 42nd. It just might be a little backup, and that's what they're doing. They'd have to dig a hole and go down and fix that drain, and then they'll cover it back up again.
Good thing we have staff in the city of New Hope that knows about all that stuff. And speaking of knowing
Yes.
about that stuff, how about the stuff underneath the railroad crossing? So the progress continues, but they run into a little bit of bump that may look like nothing's happening, but it is happening. Is that right, Mayor?
Oh my gosh, I can hardly wait to announce that Winnetka's open.
I bet.
It's well, because a lot of times people, it's a very big inconvenience for a lot of people.
Sure.
And they see people kind of standing around. Well, they're not exactly standing around, but so the railroad part is done. And now the county was putting in some valves or some piping underneath the railroad track, and
Mhm.
they found one place that it was leaking, and they had to get a special part for it. So it's just like taking longer. They still tell me that they're going to open it by June 1st. We'll see. And oh my gosh, it'd be so great to just announce that Winnetka's open. So give me a few more days, you guys. We'll have that open.
That day will be coming. We will be
It
happy when
will.
that comes. To Park and Rec we go. A lot going on here, so get ready for some activities and some dates. The first is just an update on the Step To It challenge. That process continues. What can residents still do?
One more week until the 28th of May. So if you are registered for Step To It, you should go in and make sure you get your steps in. And
Mhm.
it's quite easy to do. If you haven't registered by now, you probably aren't going to. So just keep it in mind that maybe next year you can do
Yeah.
that. It's really a nice way to keep track of your steps, and you'd be kind of surprised at how many you do in a
Mhm.
day.
Let's move ahead to gymnastics. We've talked a little bit about this past couple of weeks of a move that became necessary, move coming along of some of that city equipment.
So we've been using Sandburg Middle School to do our gymnastics program. Part of it, we need really high ceilings, and we need a good ventilation system for the chalk that the people use on the bars. So that Sandburg is going to do some renovation. So all of that equipment has to be moved to New Hope Middle or New Hope Learning Center over by
Okay.
Cooper, and
Mhm.
that'll happen on the 12th to the 14th of June, and then classes will resume on the 15th of June.
Let's talk about softball for a minute for women. There might be some cooperative work going on between a couple cities that might bring more softball to New Hope. What is in the works?
Well, as you know, we have many softball fields and they're well used. And there is a league of women who have a softball league, and that they're moving from Golden Valley. They want to move their league to New Hope. And we, of course, encourage this. There's about 13
Sure.
teams in that league now. And so those ladies will be playing on Sunday nights. So watch for those games at almost all of the parks if there's 13 leagues or 13 teams.
Fun opportunity to get out and play and also to get out and view some softball. Let's go over to the golf course, get a quick update there. How are things going with tournaments now happening and also those plants that still might be being sold?
They are. Well, there was a tournament there with early Robbinsdale early childhood development that went very, very well this last weekend.
Good.
I understand that we're up to $1,025 with the plant sale. I was over there on Saturday and there was a woman bringing more plants. So plants keep coming. I don't know where they're coming from a lot of time, but they're still for sale. They're two for $5. There's vegetables there now. So
Okay.
tomatoes and broccoli and cabbage, and so stop by. They're quite reasonably priced, and the more money we bring in, the more plants we can see at the golf course.
That will be wonderful. Let's move over to the ice arena, and you wouldn't expect a lot to be happening as we get almost into June, but believe it or not, the hockey arena is a busy place. What's going on there?
Well, the tournaments are just getting done. There's a Minnesota All-Star tournament, and that last game will be this Thursday. Of course, the roofing is done, and we're going to wait till summer to replace the skylights in there on the side of right now. We have those curved side skylights on the south rink, and
Right?
snow piles up, and then it just all dumps at once, and it
Mm,
can dump on the heads of people that are coming out of that side door. So those skylights will be replaced sometime in the summer. The ice arena is a busy place even in the summer.
that is amazing. Now, finally, in Park and Rec to the place that's going to be really busy come June, and that is the Aquatic Park. What is the latest on the Aquatic Park, and what date should we put on our calendar?
Well, we've got all of our people hired. We're training them now. They're putting water in the pool. It takes forever. They have done inspections on the pool, and they pass that, of course. After the water gets in, then the chemicals go, and of course it gets re-inspected to make sure the chemicals are fine. On June 2nd is the ribbon cutting at the pool. You won't be able to swim that day, and if you're a season pass holder, they'll allow you to go in and just see the inside and what it looks like. But
Mhm.
on the 5th of June, voila, we're
Yay.
open. Yay! The
People will
June
be
5th.
excited to get out there and use it. Hopefully we get some of these 80-degree days for that grand opening.
Oh, I hope so.
Final minute we want to spend with you. We have quite a few dates to mention, so get your calendars out here. And the first one comes up very quickly, depending on when you're watching this program. We've got a event coming up, a concert outside at the Civic Center Park. What is that first concert? And I understand there are many more this summer as well.
There are. You can go to your In Motion, and it'll list all the
Okay.
concerts and movies that are being shown. So if you threw yours away, go get another one at City Hall, because
Right.
there's some good information in there. So on May 26th is the first music concert starting at 7 o'clock at night, called the Percolators. If you've seen the Performance Center, there aren't any bleachers. So it's kind of terrace. You can sit on the grass on a blanket. You can bring a lawn chair and sit on one of the terraces, and the acoustics are just wonderful in there. So it's a free concert. Go see what's going on.
Next date is June 7th, and this is a great way the city can help out in cooperation with West Metro to get some blood to those who need it. Tell us more about the blood drive.
So there's a blood drive at the two, well, maybe all three fire stations. But I
Okay.
know that the one in New Hope has one. Um, I want to say it starts at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and goes to like 5 or 6. So if you've got some blood that you're not using, you might want to call the fire department and volunteer to give some blood, and that's on the 7th of June.
All right. Hopefully information on the city's website, newhopemn.gov, or also West Metro's website always has information about some of the training and things that they're doing. So you might be able to find it there. Citywide garage sale is coming up, mark the weekend of the 18th and 19th. How does this work technology wise? What can people find out to really get those big deals at the garage sale?
Well, we have a magic person at City Hall who is taking calls of where you live if you're going to have a garage sale. So
Okay.
you just call City Hall, and they'll tell them you want some information on the garage sale, and they'll connect you. You can sign up and tell them where your garage sale will be and the times, and they'll put it on an interactive map.
Okay.
And then for those people who want to go to the garage sale and get those wonderful finds, they can pull up that map and they can find where all the good garage sales are on that weekend.
All right. Help people get rid of some of their stuff and maybe buy some new treasures as well. Final note we want to pass along is the farmers market is back. What do residents need to know?
So now that you've gone to the garage sale on the 18th and 19th,
Right.
run over to the farmers market.
Perfect.
That's going to open on the 19th, and it'll be at Civic Center Park 9 to noon. So don't show up at 1 o'clock because it might be gone.
Got
So
it.
get over there. Those vegetables are starting to pop up and be at the market, and that's exciting that the market's going to be open again.
All right. Your calendar is full now for the first half of the month of June, and we'll work to fill that up for the next half at our next times together here. And again, a lot mentioned today. New Hope's website, newhopemn.gov. Find out what's happening in the city there. Mayor Hemken, thanks once again for your time. Look forward to talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave. See you then.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.